It was one of those afternoons when the world felt heavy and the air smelled of old dreams and coffee. Inside a small roadside diner, the hum of conversation mixed with the soft clinking of cutlery. The neon sign outside flickered, half dead, spelling out "Dinal" since 1985. Behind the counter, a young waitress named Emily Carter stood in her faded blue uniform, her name tag hanging by a weak thread. Her hair was tied neatly in a bun, but under her calm smile lived a storm she never let anyone see. Her shoes were worn out from double shifts, her back ached from long nights, and her paycheck barely covered the rent of the tiny apartment she shared with her sick mother. Every evening, she would count coins in a small jar on her table, saving up for her mother's heart medicine. That day, she hadn't eaten since morning. She'd wrapped her sandwich to eat later during break. But destiny had other plans. If you believe kindness still exists, take a moment to show some love. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Everyday Heroes. Because sometimes, your small gesture might touch someone's heart today. The lunch rush had ended. The diner was quiet except for the radio playing a soft country tune. Emily wiped down tables and looked out the window. Across the parking lot, she noticed a little boy, maybe 6 or 7 years old, standing near the trash bin. His clothes were torn and his face was pale. He looked like he hadn't eaten in days. He was staring at the leftovers on people's plates through the window, not with disgust, but with hunger. Emily's heart clenched. She stepped outside, still holding the plate of food she'd been saving for herself. The sun was hot and the asphalt shimmered, but the boy didn't move. He flinched when she approached, as if expecting to be yelled at. "Hey, sweetheart," she said softly, kneeling down so their eyes met. "You hungry?" The boy hesitated, his small lips trembling. "Mom said not to talk to strangers." Emily smiled, the kind of smile that breaks and heals hearts at once. "Well then, let's not talk. Let's just eat, okay?" She handed him her plate, rice, a small piece of chicken, and a few tomatoes. The boy looked at it like it was gold. He ate slowly, carefully, like every bite was precious. Emily watched him, her stomach growling quietly, but her eyes filled with tears she quickly wiped away. After he finished, he whispered, "Thank you." She smiled again. "Don't thank me, kiddo. Just promise me you'll be okay." He nodded. "Mom's sick," he said softly. "I'll take her some next time." Emily's throat tightened, but she didn't ask more. She patted his head, turned, and walked back into the diner, unaware that life had just witnessed her quiet act of kindness. That night, Emily returned home to her small apartment. Her mother, Linda, lay on a recliner, coughing lightly. Emily made her tea and sat by her side, stroking her mother's thin fingers. "How was work, honey?" Linda asked. "Busy," Emily lied with a tired smile. "But we're okay." In truth, she'd skipped dinner again. The hunger didn't bother her anymore. What hurt was watching her mother fade day by day. Still, she held on to faith. Because kindness, she believed, always found its way back. The next morning, the sound of engines shattered the quiet neighborhood. Emily, still in her robe, opened the door and froze. Outside her tiny apartment stood 20 black cars, polished, identical, expensive. The kind of cars that belonged in front of mansions, not old, crumbling buildings like hers. Men in black suits stepped out, one after another, moving with silent precision. For a moment, Emily's heart raced. She thought something terrible had happened. Then a tall man in his 40s approached. He had kind eyes and a calm presence. "Miss Emily Carter?" he asked politely. She nodded, clutching her robe tighter. "Yes, that's me." He smiled gently. "We're here on behalf of Mr. Anderson." She blinked, confused. "I'm sorry, I don't know any Mr. Anderson." The man exchanged a glance with his team and said, "You met his son yesterday." Outside the diner, Emily's eyes widened. "The little boy?" He nodded. "Yes. His name is Ryan Anderson. His father, Mr. David Anderson, is the CEO of a large investment firm. He's been searching for his son since morning. Apparently, Ryan slipped away from his nanny and got lost near the diner." Emily's breath caught. "Oh my God, is he okay?" The man smiled. "More than okay. He told his father about the kind lady who gave me her food when I was hungry. Mr. Anderson asked us to find you immediately." Before Emily could respond, The man handed her a folded letter sealed with gold embossing. Inside was a handwritten note. Dear Miss Carter, my son told me about you. I cannot express how deeply your kindness moved me. You didn't know who he was. You simply saw a hungry child and gave him everything you had. In a world that often turns away, you chose compassion. I would like to personally thank you. Please allow my team to assist you and your mother. I insist on it, not as charity, but as gratitude. With respect and admiration, David Anderson. Emily's hands trembled as she read the words. Tears filled her eyes. She looked up at the men, still unsure if this was real. Sir, she whispered, I didn't do it for any reward. I saw a child in need. The man smiled kindly. And that's exactly why you deserve this. Moments later, the team began unloading boxes, groceries, medical supplies, and new furniture. One of them handed her an envelope. Inside was a check that made her knees weak. Enough money to pay for her mother's treatment, her rent for a year, and maybe even start her own small cafe someday. Her dream since childhood. Emily broke down, her hands covering her face. I don't deserve this, she sobbed. The man shook his head. You do, because people like you remind us what humanity means. If this moment touched your heart, tap that like button and help us share a little more kindness in this world. Later that day, another black car pulled up. This time, David Anderson himself stepped out, tall, calm, eyes filled with gratitude. Beside him, little Ryan ran toward Emily and hugged her legs. You're the lady who fed me, he said with pure joy. Emily knelt, smiling through tears. And you're the brave little boy who made my day. David watched the exchange silently for a moment, then said, Miss Carter, I wanted to thank you personally. My son got lost while visiting our new branch nearby. He was scared, hungry, and alone. And you showed him kindness when the world didn't. Emily lowered her gaze. I just did what anyone should do. He nodded slowly. You'd be surprised how few actually do. After a pause, he handed her a small envelope. Inside was a key. Confused, she looked up. It's for a new apartment, he said gently. Closer to the hospital for your mother's care. Consider it a thank you from a father who almost lost everything. Emily shook her head. Sir, I can't accept, but he stopped her. You didn't hesitate to give away your meal. Don't hesitate to accept a little help now. For the first time in years, Emily didn't have words. She just stood there, a simple waitress surrounded by luxury cars, holding the small boy who had unknowingly changed her life. If you're still here, it means this story meant something to you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us, because stories like this keep kindness alive. Days later, the diner was busier than ever. People came not for the food, but for the story. The waitress who fed a hungry child and was found by kindness itself. Emily continued working, though her circumstances had changed. She still wore her blue uniform, still smiled at customers, but now there was a quiet glow in her eyes. The peace that comes from knowing goodness had not vanished from the world. Her mother's health improved. Their new home smelled of fresh paint and hope. And every morning, Emily placed a small bowl of food by the window, a silent promise that no one near her would ever go hungry again. As the camera fades, Emily's voice echoes softly. Kindness doesn't ask who you are. It doesn't wait for recognition. It just acts, quietly, gently, and completely. Because one small act can change everything. If this story inspired you, share it forward. Like, comment, and subscribe to Everyday Heroes. And tell us, when was the last time kindness changed your day?